a few people on board. But let's get going. If you're looking for the right plan for Ironman 70.3, an Ironman race, and how to get trained up, we're looking at tonight coaching plans versus winging it versus a coach. If you are ready for that information, I'm going to bring it to you right now. Okay, so let's talk about first. We're going to talk about winging it. All right. Winging it is something that a lot of athletes do. They get out there and they jump on into the training. And hey Dave Kelly, he's on board right now. I want to say hi to him. He's a good buddy of mine. Uh, Getting ready to do Augusta. But I want to talk to you about the winging it part. Winging it is basically taking it on yourself. You're taking on the training and you're going to adjust and make a training plan to try to get to your 70.3 race. Guys, it really works great for a sprint. I got to tell you, I went 3 years where I had no coaching, no training plans whatsoever. I did all of my own sprint triathlon training. I did okay. I got a couple of podium finishes, but I just wasn't performing up to what I thought was possible. And especially as I stepped it up to Olympic distance and then was planning on doing my first 70.3. Now, what I did there is all the way up to Olympic, I trained myself. And what I found is I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know how to get to an Olympic distance race from a sprint. I didn't know how to get to the sprint finish line without blowing up, without having problems. Didn't have any clue on my race plan. I didn't have any clue of what nutrition was at all. But I got there. Sprint, Olympic, my first Olympic race, I was in the lead for my age group. I knew I was 4 minutes ahead of the guy behind me. And guess what? I raced it like a sprint and I blew up because I didn't have a good solid plan because I was winging it. But does that mean that you can't do it? No, it doesn't mean you can't do it. You can wing it. You can make it to the finish line. I was just talking to an athlete today. They were telling me, hey, I winged it through my first 70.3. I made a goal for myself of 6 hours. I finished in 6 hours and 3 minutes. I don't know if I could have done better with a coach, but I made it. I did the job. I got it done. But how did he know? How did he know that if he looked at the metrics, he looked at where he was in his training, he looked at where he was in his overall plan, that he maybe should have been aiming for a 5:15? He may have been capable of those kind of numbers. He didn't know. He set a goal. He made it to the goal, but he didn't know if he did it as best as he possibly could. Some of the people out there I see all the time talking about, hey, I'm looking at cutoff times. I can't make a cutoff time. What's the bike cutoff time? I'm a slow biker. I'm a slow swimmer. I'm a slow runner. Can I make the cutoffs? This is an area that most of the people doing that are in the winging it category. They're trying to get through this race as economically as possible. They've put out a lot of money for the race. They put out a lot of money for equipment, and they don't want to put out the money in the training. Really, one of the most important places to put your money. Set of fancy race wheels are doing you no good if they don't make cutoff. No fancy race wheels. Get some coaching, get some training in, get a training plan, whatever you need, and get to that finish line the best you possibly can. So, can you be successful at winging it? Yes, you can. Now, what about a training plan? That would be the next level up. It is way better than winging it. No doubt. No matter what training plan is out there, it's better than you just winging it. Thousands are available. There are thousands and thousands of training plans available out there. Do you know what? I looked it up on Training Peaks alone, has 6,483 training plans. They range everywhere from free to $1,800. You know what? That just blows my mind. how many training plans are out there and which one is going to be the best for you. You start going in, you start reading all of these descriptions, you read all about these great coaches or these people who are coming in, great athletes who've put this training plan together. They say 70.3 training plan, best one on the face of the earth. Here you go. It's only going to cost you $99. You get it and you're overwhelmed. This is an area that I see a lot in my coaching is I have a lot of people come in, they're overwhelmed with what's going on, and they just can't do the training plan they chose because most likely what you're going to do is you're going to go in there and you're going to read these training plans and you're going to pick one or two or three levels above what you should be doing. You know what? That's like taking to get the right training plan. That's like taking a rock, standing on the side of the Gulf of Mexico, or it doesn't matter where you are. You could be off the shores of New Jersey or California. Or it could be Bangladesh for all I care. But you're standing there. You got a rock. Your friend swims out with a target, sinks it down in the water, and says, all right, we're going to hit the perfect training plan. And you're going to throw that rock out in the water and hope it lands on that training plan. Now, will it? Most likely not. It might. You have, if you want Training Peaks alone, you have 1 in 6,483 chances of getting the exact right training plan for you. Now, can you get through a race on that training plan? Yes. Can you hurt yourself? Yes. Can you overtrain? Yes. Can you undertrain? Yes. You don't know. Looking at the training peaks plans, I found that for a sprint training plan, just to be an example, for a sprint training plan, the lowest volume of training, one of them had 1.6 hours per week to get you to a 12-week plan for a sprint triathlon. 1.6 hours. You paid $60 for that 1.6 hour plan because you thought, I can do it now. 1.6 hours of training and do the sprint triathlon. You know what? You probably could, but you're not going to do very good. You're going to be doing a lot of walking in that plan. The best rated, if you go in and you look at a 12-week sprint training plan, 12 weeks, $70, 3 to 4 hours, highest rated. I offer $10 for 10-week sprint triathlon training plan. Down below in the description, you'll see that you can just email me and I will set you up for that plan if you're looking for something of that nature. Now let's move on. Let's move on to 70.3. That's what we're talking about here. 70.3s. There's 1,784 training plans on Training Peaks alone. They range anywhere from a 6-month plan, $549, down to $4.95 to get 2 weeks of trial period on another plan. Kind of a hook. Grabs you in, you like the plan, and you go ahead and buy it. But those are the ranges that is. Like I said earlier, most people will overestimate their abilities and they will buy a plan that is far exceeding what they can do and end up either 1, overtrained with overtraining injuries, 2, just flat getting injured, or 3, giving up halfway through because just can't do it. The plan was too hard. Got an athlete going to be doing Ironman Atlantic City next week. Came to me because I bought this plan and I just can't do it. I don't understand why I can't do it. When I open that plan, first off, I would never sell a plan that was that under description. It just didn't have enough information for you. It said swim 3,400 yards, bike 50 miles, run. This plan was up to 20-mile run for 70.3. This weekend, the weekend before the race, had a 20-mile run and an 80-mile bike ride to get ready for 70.3. Just no good. So you got to be careful of the training plan. Can you get it done on a training plan? Yes. Can you have your best race ever on a training plan? Yes. Are the odds good that you can do that? No, not there. What I suggest for you is, like I say, the winging it, your best guess. your training plan, use it as a guide. Don't use it as written in stone. Try to get the most work in as you possibly can on that training plan, and understand that if you did buy a training plan that is way over your ability, scale it back, get to your abilities, and make the adjustments the best you can as the athlete, not as a coach. So that moves us on to our third category. That's coaching. I'm going to throw a disclaimer out, guys. Right now, my disclaimer is I am a coach. Okay. And my history as a coach goes this way. I started out in doing my own thing, winging it for sprint triathlon, winged it for the Olympic triathlon, grabbed a plan for the first 70.3. It was an okay plan. I got through the race. I did it in 6 hours and 12 minutes, blew up on the run. It just really wasn't the greatest plan. I learned a lot on it, but it wasn't the greatest plan in the world. I moved on to my next 70.3. By that point, I had hired a coach. I had a great 70.3, continually dropped my times on my 70.3s all the way down till I hit, well, with that coach, I hit a PR of 5 hours, 42 minutes working with that coach. So that was really great. So that's my history as an athlete, as a coach. I am a USAT trained, but I am not at this point right now, quote unquote, certified. But I am a USAT trained. I was certified for years. Uh, I'm a coach, and I work either online or direct with people locally, and work with everyone from sprint beginners all the way up to Ironman finishers. I'll explain to you that in a minute. We'll get to that as we go along. So, what do you get when you get a coach? You get the best results for your investment. You have invested heavily into your equipment. You've invested heavily into your race, and you've invested heavily in your time and in your efforts. But if you want the best for your investment, I do suggest that you jump on board at the 70.3 level, and especially at the Ironman level. I wouldn't ever suggest somebody wing it at the Ironman level. I don't suggest you try to grab a training plan at the Ironman level. I do suggest that coaching of some sort really works out for you. And we'll get into what that kind of costs in just a minute. What does it do, hiring a coach? It reduces variables. The things that you don't know, the coach knows. You don't know that you don't know what to bring for transition. The coach knows. You don't know what you don't know for your long rides, long runs. The coach does. You don't know what you don't know to pick up in your pace and your speed. The coach knows. These are the things that you're going to get from your investment in a triathlon coach. But it does come with an expense. Just taking back to Training Peaks, I took and went and did a whole big thing on Training Peaks today, and to be getting ready for this, and the expense. Let me show you what Training Peaks charges. They charge for their gold level coaching $299 a month for their yes, for their, that was a really good one there. For their silver level, they charge $189, and for their bronze level, $119 a month. I looked into other coaches, including myself, and they range anywhere from $50 a month for basically a guided online coaching plan with a coach that would uh, take consultation with you on the training plan that you bought. That's at $50 a month, all the way up to $500, $600, and even $800 a month, depending on how involved that you want that coach with you. I found though that sometimes you get an athlete who expects a personal trainer rather than a coach when they bring in coaching. Difference between a personal trainer and a coach is a personal trainer trains with you 2 or 3 times a week. You go to them, they spend 45 minutes with you in the gym, teaching you and working you out, and you pay them a substantial amount of money for that huge amount of time investment, all the way down to a coach that works with you on training peaks. Well, actually, um, back that up a notch. The coach is versus the personal trainer. The coach is going to be the person who is guiding you, giving you a training plan, guiding you, teaching you along the way. They're not going to be the ones sitting there on you day in and day out, giving you, actually handing you the barbells. They'll tell you what the barbells are, what to do with the barbells, and then you go out and you do it. They'll tell you how far to ride on the bike, what your intervals are, how hard you should be pushing, and you go out there and do it. I'm a budget conscious coach, so you understand. I work with beginners, people who are in over their head, and people who are trying to get to the finish line of their first Ironman, half Ironman, Olympic, or sprint race, along with helping them grow from being a couch potato to an Ironman. If you're actually wanting to step up even higher than that, or you're wanting to become elite, or you wanted to be a qualifier and a contender at Kona, there's other coaches for that. I know my niche. They know their niches. They know who to bring in as a client and who not to. What are the types of coaches? First off, you got your local coach. These are people who may not do any online whatsoever. They may still be handing you a training book and doing group training with the other athletes in their group, or local coaching. They're doing track workouts where they're there with their group pre-planned. They're doing pre-planned Zwift sessions, that type of thing. But that's the local hands-on guy. Then there's the online guy. This is a guy who is maybe totally, completely out of your area. They may be in a different part of the country, different part of the world, but they are the ones that matched up with you. And they're going to bring you an online training plan that's going to be bolstered by phone calls, text messages, messenger on Facebook Messenger, or on video. And how I work when I'm doing online, so you understand how I work in online, is I work through Training Peaks. I load everything into a Training Peaks plan. The client gets that. I put notes in there to them, and we do have planned athlete and just see, how do I put this right? Planned athlete guided or athlete initiated, planned athlete initiated phone calls through messenger and text, setting up ahead of time. Or we do a lot of texting and messaging back and forth on questions about everything from transition to nutrition to what a particular workout says or does. Sometimes workouts don't read quite the way athlete could understand. They'll throw me a text or a messenger, and I'll fix them up and get them set up and going in the right direction. Then there's the hybrid coach, and I'm kind of a hybrid coach because I do have local clients, I do have online clients, I do work with local groups, I work with my local triathlon club, and I do swim lessons, individual swim lessons. I do video swim lessons online. I give the same kind of instruction in person as online, but I do that all through video, where the person sends me a video of their stroke. I tell them what to change. They send me another video. We do that back and forth. We do it with running. We do it with swimming, with biking also. So now that we know what the difference is between a coach, training plan, and winging it is, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is what to look for when you're finally making the decision to jump on board with a coach. And one of the first things a coach is going to teach you about is to hydrate. Okay. Number one, first thing you need to look at when you're getting a coach, and I want you to, if you have something to take and write these down, write these points down, because these points are really, really important in this. First, you want to find a coach with experience as a coach. Just because someone is a professional athlete or an elite, that doesn't mean they're going to be a great coach. They may have been coached by someone for years to get them to the level of being an elite athlete. Does that translate back to being an elite coach? Yes. And on a rare occasion, I shouldn't say rare occasion, on several occasions, I've seen some pretty good coaches come out of the pro ranks. And no, they're going to know how to to get you to the pro level, but can they get you from the couch to the sprint triathlon? Can they get you from the couch to the 70.3? Because that's what we're talking, the 70.3. Can they get you from being an Olympic distance finisher to a 70.3 finisher? Can they teach you in a way that makes sense to you and not to the professional athlete? It all doesn't always translate. So look for someone who's experienced as a coach. Make sure they're experienced at your level of fitness or your level of expectations. Find them, you know, I have a okay. So what I want to tell you is I do have a friend who is an elite coach. Okay, they coach people to the level of Kona high end finishers. This guy can put together and has put together some great athletes. But he has actually said to me, and he's told me before, I've watched you coach. I can't do what you do. I can't take that beginner athlete and teach them how to set up their transition area and have them understand exactly what comes first, what comes next, and what goes from there. He does say that that's just something he doesn't do. Now, there's a mid-level coaching that would be someone from an age grouper to an elite. I do have a friend who's really good at taking a good, solid age grouper and moving them up to the elite level, but he's not the kind of person who's going to be coaching someone into a high-end Kona finish, and he doesn't work the greatest with a beginner. And then there's a person who is taking beginners or someone who's over their head and moving them up and helping them to make a great race out of what they have going on. And this is possible. It is a good, solid coaching position. It's not the best paying position, guys. I'll be honest with you. I am a coach, and I work with the people at that lower level that are moving up, the age groupers who are really putting out the effort, that may not have all the time in the world and all the financing in the world and all the greatest equipment in the world. But I want to help you guys. My goal in life is to help you guys to become a better athlete. Number two, knows triathlon and the distance you're racing, guys. One of the things that's happening right now with the inflation that we have going on, a lot of people are dropping off of coaching because they can't afford the $800 coach anymore. They can't afford the 299 or even the 119, and they're dropping off of coaching and going into the winging it or the plan level because they have to tighten the budget. So this is happening also to coaches. They're seeing their roster shrink, they're seeing their income shrink, and they're making a jump over. They might be a swim coach that's a master swim coach that knows how to bike and is a decent runner. They might be a cyclist who has been a cycling coach forever, or even a running coach, and they're making the jump into triathlon racing because that can bolster their income. But that doesn't make them a person who knows triathlon. Make sure they know the 5 disciplines of triathlon. Yeah, 5 disciplines of triathlon. They know how to teach open water and endurance swimming. They know how to teach endurance cycling, especially on a triathlon or a TT bike, and without drafting. And make sure that they know how to put together a run, to get a person who has already got tired legs and maybe a little under nutrition or under hydration, how to get them back and going on a triathlon style run. Because you know what? There's nothing worse than a person who is going to teach you how to run a perfect half marathon who has no clue that you're going to start that half marathon totally, completely dead legged. So make sure they know triathlon. Number 3. Okay. Number 3, make sure your coach is goal oriented. And what I mean by that is they need to understand your goals and your expectations. They need to understand that they are going to set a goal to reach your they're going to set a plan to reach your goal. Trying to find where I'm at here. 2, 3. Make sure they're tech savvy. There we go. Our next thing is making sure that they are tech savvy. What do I mean by tech savvy? Why does a coach have to be tech savvy? Because our sport has become so tech oriented that it's actually almost unbelievable to me over the years that I've been doing this. I have that nasty 13th year going on, but they need to understand how to set up a Garmin or any other sport watch. They need to know how to make it connect to your phone. They need to make sure your phone knows how to connect to Garmin Connect. They need to know how to work with you with a power meter. This is a big thing. The prices of power meters have come down. I'm huge on power meters. Uh, they need to know how to teach you how to use your power meter, not just look at the numbers and tell you what to do with them, but they need to be able to teach you how to use your power meter as a tool. They need to be able to work within Training Peaks or whatever other particular software that they're using to be able to read the information that your watch and your power meter and your heart rate monitor sends back to Training Peaks to know how to make adjustments in your training plan so that you get the most out of it that you possibly can. They need to know how to work inside of Zwift. That's something that's getting huge. It's getting really, really big. Is Zwift, Full Gas, several other plans are out there, Rovi. Make sure they know how to work within the smart trainer world, and make sure they know how to work with Strava. Strava is another program, and they always say if it's not on Strava, it doesn't exist. Be sure you agree on how often they communicate. Make sure this is the next point, point number 2225, I think it is. Be sure you agree and have it really communicated between you and your coach when you're going to communicate and how you're going to communicate and how you're going to work together. That's another area. Be sure they have some sort of training as a coach. Like I said earlier, there are a lot of people who are just stepping in because they are an elite athlete or they are an elite, or they have been a coach in a different area. Make sure they have some sort of training and triathlon coaching. They need to understand that that coach works for you. Your coach works for you. You are the CEO of your body. You are the CEO of your race, and you are the CEO of your goals. CEO, what they do is they have the master plan. They know what they want. They know what they want their business to do, and they hire the right people to make that business do what they want. You are the the coach is the chief operating officer. Remember, the coach is the chief operating officer of this partnership. This coach is there to bring you the best possible um, training to meet your goals, but they also need to understand that they know they're an employee and that you're in charge. They if they think they're in charge, if they think that they are the ones who are in charge, then they're just going to hammer you with all kinds of training and you're going to do it, and they're going to get in all over you about it if you don't get it done. They don't care that you have a life. They don't care that you have a family. They don't care that you have a job. You have this training, and that's what you have to do, and you have to get that done, or this isn't going to work. No, that's not the job of the coach. The chief operating officer takes that vision and works with what he has to get you to your goals. That is what I say. The coach is your chief operating officer. He's in the green. This is the guy that's going to get you to the finish line and hit your goals with the least amount of injury and the best possible condition that you're going to be in. If these coaches don't meet these criteria, don't hire them. Speaking of don'ts, here's some things you don't want to do in coaching. First off, and this is some things you don't want to do in hiring a coach. Number one, make sure they specialize at your level. If you're a beginner just trying to finish, make sure that coach understands and knows how to train a beginner who's just trying to finish. If you're an age grouper who's trying to get better to move up in the ranks, make sure you hire a coach that knows how to train a person who's an age grouper who's moving up in the ranks. Again, if you're an elite trying to win an overall or a age group, make sure that coach knows how to get you from the middle of the pack to the front. And if you're trying to qualify for a world championship, Kona or St. George this year and a half, or wherever it's going to be, or any of the other world championships, make sure that coach knows that's what your goal is. Also, if you are hiring a coach, make sure that coach knows you're not or are going to be in draft legal racing. It's a total different world training for a draft legal race. Don't hire an elite coach if you're just trying to finish a sprint race. Make sure they're not just treating you. Here's the next don't. Be sure they're not just feeding you a canned training plan and collecting money. Guys, this guy works for you. This person works for you. This lady works for you. Whoever it is you hire works for you. They're supposed to be giving you a training plan and adjusting it to whatever is best to make you hit your goals. Make sure they set individual goals. Make sure they adjust. Make sure they adjust your plans as needed as you're going along, and make sure that they're willing to compensate for a bad week, a vacation, illness, whatever that gets in the way. Make sure that they're able to make those adjustments to your plan so that you're able to, again, get to that finish line, your goal. Here's an important one, guys. Don't hire a coach that's financing their own racing. If this coach is strictly hiring themselves out as a coach so that they can get to their big race and they can get to their do their own thing, you're always going to come in second. You're always going to be on the back burner. All you are is an income source. You don't want to be an income source to a coach. You want them working for you. Don't ever hire a coach sight unseen. Don't ever have a friend say to you, hey, I've been working with yada, yada, yada coaching company, or I've been working with yada, yada, yada coach, or I've been working with this person over here, or I've been working with that person. They are the greatest. They do everything just perfect for me. Just go ahead and hire them. They'll be perfect for you. And it may be the biggest disaster you've ever had in your life. Guys, don't hire a coach because your friend loved them, and don't hire a coach because social media loved them. All right. So with all those don'ts and with all those do's, how do you find the right fit? It's easy. What does a CEO do when they need a new COO? They interview. Okay. You want to interview several coaches before you pick one. Have a group of questions ready for them. Have the ideas ready of where you want to be, what your goals are, and ask them how they're going to get you there. What is going to be their overall outline of a plan for you? Make sure that you know you're the boss, and make sure you hire like a boss. Be sure they fit into several different things, guys. When you're interviewing them, make sure they're in your budget. Talk money. Okay? Talk money right up front. Don't be embarrassed about it. Say, how much are you going to, once you get that interview going, ask them, how much are you going to charge me? Are there add-ons? Are there perks? Are there, what comes with your package? Do I get video coaching? Do I get group rides? Do I get, what do I get? What do I get for my money? Make sure they understand your goals. Tell them your goals. Make sure they understand. Ask them, you understand my goals? What am I looking to do? And have them repeat it right back to you. And make sure they understand the time frame that you have available. guys, make sure that they understand that how much time you're going to make available and be able to make available for that. Hey, if you're getting value from this, make sure you drop down below, hit the thumbs up, and get in and subscribe to my channel, guys, because we're going to be bringing these to you week after week after week. We're going to be bringing you these 70.3 lives. Now I'm going to open this up. We got a bunch of people on board.